Hello and welcome to this video about Jaguar XK8 Model Years Summary. This is video 40A in my series of XK8 videos, and in this video I'm going to try and explain all the model years in one big summary. Okay, so hopefully you've been watching my videos where I've been trying to document all the model year changes from the introductory 1997 model year all the way through to the final versions, model year 2005 and 6, before the car was eventually superseded by the X150. As I say, I'm going to try and include all the key details or the highlights of each model year in this one video. Okay, let's go. In order to find out what model year your car is, you need to look at your vehicle identification number or VIN number. This is situated just to the left-hand side of the windscreen, and you're looking at the last 6 digits, and this is the build sequence of your car. Thankfully, Jaguar Heritage have actually documented all the VIN numbers for all the manufacturing years and the model years, and you can see this information in this table, these two tables here. If you want to see the data, please go to www.jaguarheritage.com, link at the bottom. Before I go any further, I need to point out the manufactured year, or when the car was made in the factory, the model year, what revision the update of the car was, and the registered year, when the car was actually first sold and registered for the road, could be and probably are going to be different years. So please be wary of that. The only way you can truly know the model year of your car is to check the VIN number against the Jaguar Heritage data. So all the information I'm going to present in this video is all been sourced through the technical guides that Jaguar issued at the time for model updates, their brochures, and their technical service bulletins. I've found these through a couple of key websites, jagrepairs.com and jag-lovers.org. Two very good sites. If you want to have a look at those, you can see the data there. Okay. Starting at the beginning, or pre-XK8, was the XJS. So spending a little bit of time on that. So the original design of that was Malcolm Sawyer, and it was facelifted by Jeff Lawson. It was manufactured for 20 years between 1975 and 1996. And Jaguar made 115,000 of these cars. And in comparison, the XK8 was a bit more successful because they manufactured 90,000 XK8s over half the time. 2/3 of them convertible. The XK8 was available in several engines. The final engines was 4-litre 6-cylinder straight 6. There was a V12 you could special order that had been previously built in the car. You could have 5-speed manual or automatic. And the 4-litre 6-cylinder was putting out 238 bhp and 282 pound-foot of torque with a 0-60 of 7.4 seconds. So now no slouch for the late 90s. The XJS was famous for those flying buttresses you can see at the top, and not for everybody's liking. So there was the predecessor to the XK8, the XJS. Moving on then to the start of the XK8, just talk a little bit about the project and the clays and the models. The XK8 project itself, the exterior was actually approved in October 1992. The project didn't get approval till November 1993 when Ford approved the finance. And in the summer of 1994, mechanical mules were used to test the new engine and the new technology. In 1994/5, they did the crash test 1995 6. There were some verification prototypes built and tested until March 1996. The car was debuted in the Geneva Motor Show, with finally the start of production starting in summer 1996. The first model year then, if you discount model year 1996 car, which was basically pre-production cars, started with VIN number 001246. Obviously, this initial model year, the introduction of a new vehicle, coupe and cabriolet, stylish cars designed by Fergus Pollock under Jeff Lawson. Now it was Jeff's personal mission, by the sound of it, to make a better job than the facelifted XJS. Obviously, he had lots of constraints with that car, and this one was a step forward in style. The 1997 model year was introduction of the AJ26 normally aspirated engine with the VVT units. It was a 4-litre 32 valve engine giving out 290 bhp, 290 pound-foot of torque, 0-60 in 6.4 seconds, and the front discs were a diameter 3 or 5 millimeter. Now, again, a comparison with the XJS, this XK8, thanks to the engine and other designs, was actually 90 kilos or 5% lighter. The engine's more powerful. You can imagine the performance was quite a lot better. The interiors are available in two types. There was sport. You can identify with horizontal stitching in the seats. You could actually have fabric inserts in the seats with that, or classic, which has the horizontal, the vertical stripes, and that was all leather. The wheels at the time, there was a 17-inch version called the Revolver. There's 17 by 8 on the front and the rear, or you can have a sport wheel, which you got if you ordered Cat's suspension. The front was 18 by 8, the rear 18 by 9, staggered set. So there you go, model year 1997. So as a car newly introduced, you got speed sensitive power steering wheel controls for your ICE and your cruise control if you chose that option. It had all new front suspension compared to the Jaguar XKR, and it shared the same underbody, hence the wheelbase was exactly the same. The seat belts came with mechanical pre-tensioners, the standard aircon. It's very funny, it's quite a novelty, the wash wipe on the windscreen. The actual water is sprayed from the actual windscreen wiper itself, which is quite novel for the car at the time. It's got two front airbags, passenger and driver, which at the time was quite good. Electric seat adjustment, remote central locking, 4-speaker radio, cassette, trip computer, fade up and down lighting. And if you had the cabriolet is particularly novel in that you don't have to do anything manually. You just press the button and the thing will automatically latch itself and auto latch to close. It's quite an advanced roof that they designed together with Carmen. The options then: heated windscreen, cat suspension, cruise control, CD multi-changer. You could have premium audio with an X ramp and more subwoofers, etc., and retracting mirrors. There you go, model year 1997, the introduction. Moving swiftly on, or not so swiftly in this case, model year 1998 was the introduction of the XKR, again with the AJ26. This was VIN number 018108. So this was the same 4-litre engine, but instead deleted the VVT units and added a big supercharger in the middle of the engine. You can see there, mated together with a different gearbox to the naturally aspirated, a Mercedes-Benz 5-speed. giving a massive 370 brake horsepower, 387 pound-foot of torque, 0-60 in circa 5.2 seconds. And this is no slouch. This is supercar territory now. And the front discs, 305mm diameter, surprisingly the same as the XK8. Now you could tell this car because the badging, the growlers on the front and the back of the car had Supercharged written underneath. You can see the top left. The car differentiated itself from the XK8 because it had bonnet vents, a stainless front grille between the front overriders, a rear spoiler, and the double 5 alloy wheels. Again, staggered 18-inch wheels. So at the same time, the model year itself, there was introduction of standard auto headlights on both XK8 and XKR, and markets, all markets, some markets got standard DRLs. Also became standard to have electrochromic rear view mirrors. It's probably the bane of many XK8 owners, the fact that the bleeding mirror, as we say. There you go. Model year 1998. Moving on to model year 1999. This was the from VIN number 031303. The highlight of this was the introduction of the AJ27 into the XK8. Minor changes to the engine really. Electronic throttle body, air-assisted fuel injection. The VVT units were upgraded to continuously variable valve time units. There's lots of engine mods to make that happen. They had new cams, new pistons, a new head, new electronic management system, 4-pin coil packs, new MAF sensor, an oil temperature sensor, because with these VVT units, this continuous variable valve time units are very sensitive to oil pressure and temperature. So there's an extra temperature gauge added near the oil filter, and the actual engine oil was upgraded from 10W40 to 5W30 to assist with that. The cylinder head was improved. It got different lighter tappets. The valve seats are slightly different. And the head itself is different because it's got the air-assisted fuel injection on there. The auxiliary belt material was improved. There was refueling vapor recovery system added, double platinum plate plugs. The XKR actually got an improvement in brake disc diameter. They went from the 305 original to 325. Obviously, people started to complain about stopping, obviously. There were some new paint colours. The rear badges were deleted off the boot lid. And there was a new ZF Servotronic 2 PS system, power assisted steering, and optional pollen filters. There you go, model year 1999. Model year 2000 then. This is from VIN number A00016. Highlight of this was the AJ27 being added to the XKR, or a supercharge added to it. This enables it to be sold in North America or USA, assumingly because of the emissions. There's lots of improvements in this car, specifically safety, braking, and features. So what we got new audio. The sat nav became an option. It was the death of the revolver wheel. No shame there, honestly. Replaced by Lamina, but again, non-staggered 17x8. The body was reinforced with in order to improve crash. There was sill reinforcements added, tunnel reinforcements, plates put in the footwell, both coupe and cabriolet. And what was a more interesting one is the brake booster was modified to reduce pedal travel and brake response by doubling its pressure, but for the same pedal travel. Quite a good one. Plus, there was a ABS Plus system added to assist with that. So what have we got? Model year 2000. Supercharger. Spark plug gaps were reduced from 1.3 millimeters to 1.1. We got a new supercharger belt material. The supercharger got an EGR valve. Orange long life coolant was standardized at this point. We got depowered airbags. The new audio system I spoke about earlier went from 4 speakers to 6. The premium audio system amplifier went to 240 watt, from 240 watt to 320. The multi-changer, CD multi-changer became standard. Rain sensing wipers became standard. Standard also was a boot storage net, obviously with the options of sat nav and cruise control. About the same time, there was the introduction of the R Performance kits. These were from September 1999, so just after the model year started. You could get was 3 or 4 elements to this kit: Brembo brakes, BBS alloy wheels, cat suspension, and actually what they call the handling pack, and lots of other extras. I've done another video on this if you'd like to see that. Probably the banner will pop up now. But the main thing was the introduction of the Paris and Detroit Milan alloy wheels. Really nice looking wheels, those. At this model year, the special edition came out called the Silverstone. This was to celebrate the return to racing through Formula One and its long association with world famous circuit Silverstone. Really nice cars. Now, it's not a coincidence that those Silverstones are basically XKRs with R Performance kits, the full Monty. They've got everything on them. Really, really quick cars and nice handling. Moving on, model year 2001, VIN number A11051. The highlight of this change really, again, was midlife facelift, both the interior and the exterior, and some crash safety improvements, mainly what they call ARTS, the interior or occupant safety. So a lot of time spent by Jaguar improving occupant safety in this model year. Lots of sensors triggering improved airbag systems, etc. So what you really got, if we look at the exterior first, then this is the model with the flush fog lights on the front bumper. The rear end of the car is modernized. It's got a bright finisher on the luggage lid handle. It actually incorporates a button in the luggage lid, so you can open it without the fob. The rear lamps are the dual type with the 3 circles. The rear bumper was changed. It was made deeper to try and cover the spare wheel well. This meant that the towing hitch had a little cover. You can see that on the right. And the XKR got its own exhaust trim. So up to this point, the XKR had shared the same exhaust trims as the XK8, but now it got bigger ones, and the ones it actually really needed. Also in this model year, it saw the end of the flute alloy wheel. This was replaced the standard by the impeller. Again, 18x8 front, 18x9 rear. Interior-wise, then, this was the introduction of all the headrested seats. The main real improvement here was the fact that these seats include side airbags as part of this ART safety system. So it's a real big. The seats aren't just only fancy because they're like electric headrests, but they are much safer seats. So summarised, 2001 facelift, we've got occupant safety, advanced restraint system, hearts, front bumper, rear lights, luggage lid, seats, headrest, airbags, ISOFIX fitted to the rear seats, standard. The front airbags became twin stage and the passenger airbag got a light to show its activation or not. There's a modified steering column for safety. The front oil cooler was rerouted. There's more misfiring sensing on the engine. There's also exhaust improvements. The exhausts actually on Model Year 2001 cars were made out of better materials, and the hangers on the rear back boxes are different. This is where you get the hanger is actually going front to back on the car rather than left to right. Got the XKR exhaust trims. He also had a new fuel level sensor. The fuel flap came with a tether. You got mood lighting on the interior. There's a new style key fob because of better better coding or protocols between the alarm and the key fob to prevent people snatching your code. And reverse for sensors at this point you could have as a factory fit. Previously they were only a dealer fitment. The special edition of this model year was again the Silverstone that had been brought out in model year 2000, but this was slightly different. The first one I think was 100 cars, this was a few more, but basically the spec was the same, except that it was actually the more facelifted car. Model year 2000, couple of extra things then. At the same time, similar time, this was when the nickel silver coating was deleted from the engine, and steel liner engines were built from model engine number 000818043 onwards. The first 6 digits of the engine number are actually the build date. So from 18th of August 2000, which is roughly model year 2000, but 2001, but not quite. You've got all steel liner engines, but there's a lot of overlap here. There's a lot of stock of the V8 engines, so you've got to really look at your engine number to check for steel liners. But guys in the UK, this is the point where the cars get really expensive to tax. So cars before the 1st of March 2001 actually registered before 1st of March 2001 were only £270 per annum to tax. After that, they're £580 per annum. These are the prices circa 2020. So this is the point of no return. So it gets really expensive car to run after this, albeit road tax is not the only cost, I know. Right, model year 2002. I don't know a lot about model year 2002. I had a couple of suggestions from subscribers. There was a lot going on at Jaguar at the time, so there probably wasn't time to do a lot of mods on the car, model year 2002. The X150 had actually started and was pretty much almost at sign-off. The X400, the X-Type, had started manufacture earlier in the same year as model year 2002 was coming out, and the X350 project, an all-aluminium XJ, was pretty much in the middle of its project, and also the sales plummeted. If you see the graph here, the build graph, you can see between 2001 and 2002 there's a massive drop in sales. So I think Jaguar took their eye off the ball a little bit at this point. And this is VIN numbers A24186 onwards, model year 2002. One thing I did find was the Apollo alloy wheel came on stream, 19" by 8 on the front, 19" by 9 on the rear. XK8 only, because these are not suitable for Brembo brakes. Also, the BBS Montreal 20" alloy came out together with the XKR 100 Special Edition. These were front 20 by 9s, rear 20 by 10s as the Detroit and Paris. Another point of note, at the same time, there was the upgrade to metal secondary timing chain tensioners. This is again from engine number 018-13000 or build date 13th of August 2001. So again, similar but not the same time as model year 2001, so you have to be really careful and look what your engine number is to be sure you've got metal secondary timing chain tensioners. In this model year, there was a special edition. Seems like a regular thing now. This was introduced to celebrate Sir William Lyon's 100th anniversary, or as a good excuse to bring a nice fast car out, to be honest. And this was actually using the Montreal 20-inch alloy wheels. Moving on now, model year 2003. So this was a big model year change because it saw the introduction of the AJ34 engine, or the 4.2 litre engine, to both the naturally aspirated and the supercharged cars. This was mated to a new ZF 6-speed gearbox. You can see the difference on the J gate because you've got, instead of 2, 3 and 4 on the left hand side of the J, you've also got a 5 at the bottom. 6-speed automatic. You could this was also a year where it saw the optional adaptive cruise control, and the all new engine management system. There was option of HID or xenon lights. The XKR got an auxiliary air flap in its airbox because of a lack of air when you're going full tilt. The J gate itself on the automatic box is electronic. There's no a wire from the gear stick to the gearbox anymore. Brembo brakes became standard for XKRs, albeit you had to opt for the drilled and slotted discs. You got dynamic stability control. There's a new immobilizer. There's an auto headlight wiper on. You can actually get a rear view mirror compass. What is it? Forward alert. Yeah. A few more. Yeah, we got a few more alloy wheels came and went. So the Lamina was superseded by the Gemini. So there's a 17-inch wheel option. The 18-wheel option of the Impella was superseded by the Centaur. That was Jaguar's North American standard fit for the XK8. It saw the end of the 55 replaced by the Hydra for the XKR, and this was suitable for Brembo brakes. What else have we got? At the same time, the luggage lid body colour of the XKR went back from being bright to body coloured, and the XKR also got lots of R logos. Sorry, going back to model year 2000, I hadn't quite finished. The special edition at this point was the XKR 400. This was actually introduced through dealer demand. Obviously, they love the special edition. And this was one of the fastest ever production Jaguars. Again, fully loaded, beautiful cars. Okay, now we'll move on to model year 2004, VIN number A36874. Again, don't really know a lot about this model year. The rubbing strips down the side of the car were deleted at this point. Moving on to model year 2005. This was basically the final facelift of the exterior, VIN number A24384. And what you got with this is sort of the missing link between the X100 and the X150. You got new front bumpers with the lower grille, 2 grills if you would, 2 openings. The XK8 got the vane actually cutting through the overriders. The XKR lost the overriders altogether. It had a purely front mesh grille. The exhaust trims were changed. The XK8 got the XKR's old trims, and the XKR got double pipes. There were rear spoilers. The XKR got a new spoiler, and you could have as an option, the XK8 could have a spoiler, but it was the old XKR one. There was actually sill covers added to the side sills to try and beefing up the side appearance, and a new rear bumper. The bumper was deeper again. This meant, and it's got twin covers for the towing hitch, both sides, with larger cutouts for the exhaust because of these twin exhaust pipes or twin finishes that were added for the XKR. The actual side of the bumper is not quite clear. Or actually, they used to be underflush up to this point. They actually became flush with the rear fender. So 2005, yeah. And obviously continued with adaptive cruise control, albeit it was improved as an option. There was a couple of special editions at this point. There was a carbon fiber special edition. There's 100 off cars basically fully kitted, but with carbon fiber fascias. So instead of the wooden veneers, it was all carbon fiber. 100 off of those cars. And there was a sterling moss, which was 5 off cars, specially built, supposedly with the fastest factory horsepower Jaguar since the AJ27 at 466.9. Don't forget the 0.9 bhp. Not the nicest looking cars, but they are the fastest. Okay, moving on to model year 2006, and this really was the last throes of the car. I don't really know a lot about it other than we got a couple of new alloy wheels, the Sepang, the Perseus actually, and the Atlas with chrome finish as standard. The Sepang and the Perseus are both 20x9, 20x10, and the Atlas was 19x8, 19x9. The final edition car has also got Bluetooth stereo, something that's sadly missing on all XK8s and XKRs up to this point. Anybody who's got a mobile phone would know. And those final editions, the Victory in the US, which was brought out to celebrate XK8's success in Trans Am racing, you can see the checkered flags on the front or the bonnet badges. This was actually badged as the 4.2S in the UK or in Europe. That was unveiled at Geneva in March 2005. There you go. There you go, model year 2006. So finally, just to move on to the X150 as a comparison to the XK8. The X150 came out in model year 2006, so bridging the gap. Again, using the same engine as the XK8. It's a 32 valve CVVT, but this time giving us 410 brake horsepower with the supercharger, 413 pound-foot of torque, and 0-60 in 4.9 seconds. Now this was the advanced lightweight coupe, and you can tell this. It was designed by Ian Callum, and it's 250 kilograms lighter than the XK8, 15% lighter, and it's got a bit more power. One real nice thing, it's got a hatchback, so you can take stuff to the dump, or do shopping. Anyway, tell everybody it's very practical. Okay, so that's the X150. I go back to the beginning now. Hopefully that's all the things covered in as much detail as I can muster at this point. Hope it was useful, interesting. I've tried to cover most things. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you'd like to see more XK8 videos.